Hello everybody and welcome back to the Planet Film Network. I wanted to take the time to make a special video here today in honor of Doctor Who Day. It is the 59th anniversary, and I'm going to be doing my best to rank and determine my favorite Doctor of all time. Alright, so going in timeline order here, let's start with the first Doctor, William Hartnell, David Bradley. I like these episodes. I mean, I haven't watched all of his episodes. I haven't watched a lot of the classic eras, all their episodes. I've seen a lot of certain Doctors. But William Hartnell I have seen a good deal of. And then if we're going to lump David Bradley in as well, I think some of my favorite modern Who, New Who appearances have been the first Doctor with him. So I will go right now. I'll go with they're okay. Just because, not my Doctor, not my time, but I still respect and absolutely love, what came before, everything like that. Patrick Troughton, I have seen probably the most of his episodes out of anybody. I will go with they're awesome, absolutely. And guys, let me know too, down in the comments, what is your ranking of all of these Doctors? Remember, we also are including the Fugitive Doctor in here as well. These are any canon appearances. Also, I don't have the 14th Doctor on here yet, David Tennant's second incarnation, just because we've only had the one scene with him, so it'd be kind of unfair. So we will just be ranking him as just strictly the 10th Doctor. So next up, let's go Jon Pertwee. Again, going into They're Awesome, have seen a ton of his episodes, some great stuff not introducing, but with the Brigadier unit, the car, everything like that, I thought was fantastic. I loved watching his episodes. I used to actually watch his episodes when I was on TV, or when it was on TV when I was a kid. So really like it there. Tom Baker, I was never somebody who was huge on Tom Baker. I know for a lot of people out there, that's an easy their number one. For me, I am going to go with they're okay. And granted, that's because I have not seen a ton of his adventures. I've seen a ton of his stuff with Sarah Jane. Some great episodes in there. Again, this is a fluid dynamic. Could change, could go any way in the future. But let's move on. Peter Davison, the fifth Doctor. I'll go with they're okay. I'll go with they're okay. I like some of his adventures that I've seen. I like some of the times he's popped up in Modern Who as well recently, and then also with the little special that he and David Tennant did about a decade ago. I thought was fantastic. But yeah, I'll put him in they're okay. Colin Baker, the sixth Doctor, I will go meh on that. Definitely not I don't like them. Just, I think I've only seen maybe, 6 or 7 of his episodes, and I feel like the story was just kind of treading ground, or retreading ground during that time of what I've seen, so I'll put him in meh. And then Sylvester McCoy, I'm going to go with they're awesome. Again, probably the third most episodes I've seen, and of course that's going to go into it. So yeah, I'll put him right there. I've also personally met Sylvester McCoy at a Comic-Con. He's an amazing, amazing human being. And also, his Doctor is fantastic. His relationship with Ace, everything like that. I really like his era. But let's move on now, kind of going over to the more modern Doctors, even though we do technically have one that is technically classic Who. But we will start out with, I guess, going in order, Paul McGann as the 8th Doctor. Now, for me, this is going to be the first one that I'm going to go with. I love them, and we will see kind of where that unfolds from there. His movie, I love the Doctor Who movie. Of course, it is super campy, super 90s, everything that goes into that. Eric Roberts as the Master, take him or leave him, whatever you like to say about him. I personally enjoyed it. Also, this movie was just kind of a big thing when I was younger, so there is that as well. But I do really, really like him as the Doctor. And then, of course, Night of the Doctor, I think some of the best 10 minutes of Doctor Who that they've ever made. If you have never checked out Night of the Doctor, it's on YouTube right now. Definitely go check that out. Next up, we'll go with the War Doctor. I will definitely put this in they're awesome. I'll go ahead and I'll put him kind of in the front of the pack here in they're awesome. Love his initial reveal. Awesome. Obviously, John Hurt, from Alien. Ollivander and Harry Potter movies, everything like that. So finding out that he was going to be one of the interpretations of the Doctor, I thought was really awesome. And then, of course, huge part in the 50th anniversary special that I saw in theaters was fantastic. Really enjoyed that. Let's go Christopher Eccleston, the Ninth Doctor. I am going to go with they're awesome. I'm going to put him right there. Some of the earliest Doctor Who that I saw, obviously his relationship with Rose, some of his stories, obviously it was a little more small scale, but, you know, the dynamic between him, Rose, and Mickey, I thought was really well done, and I really enjoyed his Doctor, and kind of the man out of time, the first time we've seen this kind of darkness in him. Not the first time we've ever seen darkness, but the first time that we've ever, you know, seen the darkness of the Time War really brought on screen, and then obviously fleshed out even more in David Tennant and then Matt Smith's time. But yeah, speaking of, let's go ahead and put David Tennant right at the front here in I Love Them, if it'll let me do that. There we go. Let's see. Next up, we'll go Matt Smith. Again, just going to throw him in I Love Them. Absolutely fantastic. Was probably the Doctor that I most consistently watched airing week to week. Or that's actually not true. Him and Capaldi I most consistently watched week to week. But absolutely love all of his stuff. Amy and Rory, and then obviously the introduction of Clara, all of the other things. Some great stories, some defining core Doctor Who memories for me from Matt Smith. And then obviously everything Matt Smith has gone on to do in his career. Absolutely love him as the 11th Doctor. And you got to give him props too, because his era and kind of the Moffat takeover was kind of the first wave of, okay, this show is now very big in America. We're now seeing with the whole Disney Plus deal going forward that, you know, it's going to be even bigger over here in the States and other places in the world. But I feel like his era was the first time that I was seeing more and more people, you know, at my school, at my high school, really talking about Doctor Who. And that was always really, really cool. Next, Peter Capaldi. Gotta put him in I Love Them. Absolutely fantastic. Really, really, really loved him in the show. All of his different appearances and everything like that. His first initial tease with the eyebrows in the 50th, I loved. Really, really big fan of his Doctor, but we'll circle back to that in a little bit. Jodie Whittaker here. Actually, let's go Fugitive Doctor first. Fugitive Doctor, I will put in meh. Not because of the actress. I thought that every time she came in Jodie Whittaker's era, I loved it. The initial story arc with kind of her not knowing who she was and then getting the memories unlocked. When we went back in time with that whole kind of team and then her finding out that this was a memory she never had, I thought was fantastic. Her little bit where she popped up in Power of the Doctor, I thought was really, really cool as well. But we just don't really have a lot there to mine. If she shows up more and more and more, could really pop up. You know what? Even just talking about it, I am going to put her in They're Okay. I am going to put her up there. Just because meh feels a little disrespectful. Just because I love her Doctor. She just doesn't have the screen time as everybody else. So next up and lastly, we will go with Jodie Whittaker, the 13th Doctor here. I am actually going to go with They're Awesome. I am going to put her firmly at the front of the pack of They're Awesome. I think really let down by some of the wonkiest, uneven dialogue that we've had in Doctor Who in quite some time, but every time Jodie Whittaker was on screen as the Doctor, I just absolutely loved her in that role. Loved her interactions with Graham, Yaz, the entire fam, everything like that. And then when Dan came along, absolutely loved a lot of what was going on in her era and her as the Doctor. Again, I just think let down by some of the dialogue and some of the story choices. A lot of the arcs did not work for me. But that being said, I still love her as the Doctor. So, looking here, who is going to be my number one? You might not expect it, but I am going to reorder this top one in order of who I like the most. And that is going to put Paul McGann at number one of I Love Them. and that is going to slide the man himself, the 12th Doctor, Peter Capaldi, into my absolute number one spot. I have watched and rewatched his era more and more, probably than anyone else, which is saying a lot because it is more recent than people like David Tennant and Matt Smith, who I have rewatched their entire eras multiple times. But Peter Capaldi's, I have gone back, I've rewatched his whole era maybe 4 or 5 times, and I'm constantly looking up things online, some of his famous speeches and monologues, especially from the Zygon inversion, the great monologue he gave when the Zygon Clara and Kate are, about to start a war that they don't know the consequences of, that, as he puts it, you don't know who's going to die. Absolutely love him as the Doctor. Easily my number one. Could change in the future. Let's see what David Tennant does. Let's see what Jodie Whittaker does in the future. But guys, let me know, what are your favorite Doctors? How would you rank these guys? And let us know in the comments down below. Also, go ahead and subscribe to this channel. I'm so happy that this Disney Plus deal is going to bring Doctor Who to a wider audience, and that it is going to be a bigger and better show than it probably ever has been going into this new era. And I'm happy that we are going to be able to cover it on the channel. So let us know down below, what do you want us to see covered from Doctor Who? Do you want us to take a look at all the trailers, all the things that are released for it, all the news updates and more? I'll link some of those in the end cards. But until then, guys, let us know who's your favorite Doctor, and we will catch you in the next video.